Like Iran would we'd go to war like that
Yeah,
minute.
but it's not really equivalent at all. Like this is it. I mean, like sure, like they have like it'd be a hard country to invade, but it's still a backwater fucking like
Well,
their military would get wiped off the
are you
face of
talking
the
about
earth.
economically?
I don't know.
Are you talking about
I don't know.
economically?
Iran, dude. Iran is a populous country. Very
Yeah, and they actually have like
and they have a
deep
really
pride
No,
in their
no, we wouldn't.
religion
No, we
in the
wouldn't send
country.
troops.
It's not going to be as fast as Iraq.
We're definitely not going to
No.
invade the country, but their military would still get wiped out by our air force.
Well, I mean, was North Vietnam's military wiped out by our military?
Well, they're gonna start doing. I mean, if they start tunneling, I guess. I mean, fuck.
Yeah,
me, I
they're
don't
gonna
know.
go.
Yeah,
they're
but
gonna
it's
go crazy.
It's mountains,
If
man.
there's like
a
full
mountains,
war,
It-
especially
Afghanistan has gone on for 18 years. We can't root out the Taliban after 18 years. Those are in very similar mountains. Very.
Oh
very
no, that's
close
well,
proximity.
that's just for money. We could kill the Taliban if we wanted to. We just want to be there.
yeah, but they'll come right back. No, it's
It's like-
gotten better and
that's
it's gotten
the- yeah.
worse, and we're
You
still
can't-
there.
It's just impossible to occupy these areas because it's not symmetrical warfare. You know, it's not states that you're fighting; it's people that live there. They rise up against you. You know, it's invading Iran would be.
Yeah, no, I'm normally very
insane.
isolationist. I just hate that guy, and I think he should have died. And we had like he was out of the country. It was such a
But
clean
like the
shot.
reason why the U.S. troops were there in the first place is wrong. Like that's the
In Iraq, yeah, I agree.
yeah. So then, and
don't care, though.
and they're invading the country.
So,
Like, that's the
yeah,
cognitive
oh,
dissonance
yeah,
I
what?
can't get.
So, like, you're against the war in Iraq.
It's
but,
not
like,
those soldiers' lives like fault. It's the U.S. government's policy. Like those soldiers didn't
Yeah.
deserve to die, though.
Yeah, but also, can you blame someone like Soleimani like defending his country against people who definitely
Yeah,
by
because
your
he
admission
used
shouldn't be there?
Yes, because he killed civilians alongside with it, and he used very regular terrorist actions like suicide bombings and shit.
Okay.
Like, he was not a
Would
good
you
guy.
like?
this
would
is
you
like,
like-
Yeah,
he
are you
was
familiar with the
literally a
action
terrorist. He was
Trump
literally
took
a
last
terrorist.
week?
He was
sorry.
literally I mean, he was a general for an enemy
Yeah,
country.
it's almost like Iran is like a theological like terrorist state.
Okay, would you?
I would say I can say that like the line between good and bad when it comes to warfare between these kinds of countries which have both committed atrocities, like it's really going to be hard to describe who's the terrorist and who is the
This dude was literally a
justified
terrorist.
one. But
Yeah,
I'm
but
not,
they would say the
but I
same
actually
thing
do-
about
I actually
George
do
W.
think
Bush.
He was really
in
like,
Iran.
would you like?
George
Would you
W. Bush was a
execute?
terrorist.
So would you
Yeah,
execute
thank
George W.
you,
Bush?
yeah. But
But I,
Would you execute
did
George
this guy
W. Bush?
have to be exploded? Could he have been captured?
if I remember
Is that-
correctly, there was a plot in plan that was going to kill more Americans, and that's why we took him out.
that is cap. I'm gonna say.
I
that.
think that was like after the fact. I don't know.
Yeah, that's Mike
Yeah,
Pompeo
no,
being
I
like,
know.
oh,
Like,
well,
the
I
main
confirmed
reason-
sources.
The reason was
so-
the previous people he'd already been in, the reason for
yeah,
why they
there was
died.
something going down at the
Weapons
embassy.
of mass
Right?
destruction.
When
Weapons
he,
of mass
I mean,
destruction.
yeah, I mean, he's funded like Shia militias in Iraq. I mean, like, okay, would you kill George W. Bush in a drone strike?
What?
Yeah, I mean, you said he was a war criminal too, no, right?
Dude,
It's
wait.
not relatable though. Iran isn't the strongest country in the world.
Ronald Reagan.
No,
Funded
but like, if you had the power to do it,
We
you
have
would
to take Big Dick into account here.
Ronald Reagan funded the Mujahideen, who used guerrilla, asymmetric, dirty war tactics against the Russians.
Oh yeah, dude, we funded mad people. We
Is
funded,
he not?
dude,
Is he not ethically equivalent?
we
to-
funded groups in South America who like cut out people's eyes while they're alive.
Yes.
Yeah, so
So-
are we gonna kill
so-
every U.S. president since like fucking like?
Well, they
I
should
don't know.
definitely be charged.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yes.
But
Thank you.
I don't care. Fuck that guy.
Soleimani.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
like,
know.
yeah.
I don't. It's,
This is
it's
more
either
like to
you
James,
say-
but you
it's
can't
either
be-
say fuck everyone, or you say like arrest everyone. You know, like I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Republicans are leading in both.
Listen,
and-
if it was my perfect world and I could make this like my utopia, George Bush and all those people would be put to death. Yeah, like they would be.
Okay.
Like, but this is just, we live in the real world. Like,
They would be put to
Iran
death.
is a
Yeah.
little
But like,
shitter.
what I also think you can't do is you can't be like, well, like more. Or I'm thinking of the election now. I'm like Soleimani, like they were. Like he was bad, but like he was a bad guy. But like it doesn't. The fact that they're there in the first place, like you got to take a strong position one way or another if you actually want. Like you can't just be like that was the big mistake that I think people like the candidates in the Democratic race made at the time. They're just like, oh, like Soleimani was a bad guy, but this action was wrong. It's just like you're like, oh, so you don't want to kill the bad guy, like that's bad. But you gotta draw, if you actually want the troops to leave, you gotta draw like a clear, definitive.
I guess I'm just so convinced that Iran knows that Iran is just gonna stay in their place, like.
Yeah, of course
they would get smacked so hard. They would get. Oh my god!
I'm actually willing to call the election right now for both Democrats based on the data that I'm just looked at.
Based on this newest data, let me check the data.
I shouldn't say data because it's not any specific data, but based on what I'm seeing from NYT, they're very, very optimistic about the Democrats, and they were confident about Georgia really early on, and they were pretty spot on in their prediction, so I'm actually willing to accept that as a likelihood.
Well, Purdue is currently 32,000 votes ahead, and Kelly Loeffler is currently 11,000 votes ahead.
That's true, but
the report is only 69%, so this is like taking its own cannon.
It is a little early. But
yeah,
I made the call. I've made the call, and I'm sticking with it.
No, I'm sticking to the call too.
Now, here's the best part about the Democratic Party: anything that wants to serious that actually wants to happen is going to have to go through fossil fuel baron Joe Manchin.
But you know what, dude? You know what? Praise be, and I take this drink of the strawberry lemonade Svedka.
Oh, let me join you.
At least, thank fucking God, if this trend holds, we won't have Republicans.
Hey, man.
Democrats suck, but Republicans are just depressing.
You're lucky you're cute, James.
Mwah. Yeah, well, actually, you're probably the conservative person that I talk to the most. Maybe next to Donnie, or I don't know, Donnie and Caleb. I talk to quite a lot.
I put
I'm
the
Republican,
link in the
but
Discord.
again, I'm a super liberal on a lot of things.
Yeah, but you're probably the most informed one of those.
I like Med for All.
In at least history.
Yeah, I mean, you have a little bit of a confusing war position, but
I don't understand. You're
anti-war,
but you're okay with us assassinating a general of a country we're not at war with. I just don't like.
Yeah,
listen,
it's a bit confusing.
I don't get it, dude.
I'm gonna have the same reasons. It's just fuck China, fuck Iran. I hate them. Fuck them.
So you're more isolationist.
In most cases, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what you do about China though. What is it that you do? What is the ideal situation?
I think
go to war with them.
In the long run, I think war is the only option. But for right now, I think we just got to do everything economically we possibly can to limit them. There's no working together with them. As long as Xi is in power, at the very least, there's no working with them. It's just not going to happen. That dude's playing 3D chess Vic 2 in real life.
Yeah.
We've been playing 3D chess for longer than they have. We have done so much more shit in the global arena than they have.
I don't give a fuck about what we did 100 years ago. I'm talking right now.
No, right now. Yeah, right now.
I actually agree with Kyle. I think China's a huge threat to
China
us.
is a huge threat.
We have done so much more shit, and we are doing so much more shit than China has ever done.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna.
True.
What is the thing that China's gonna do to us that's gonna be really gonna?
I don't think
invade us.
There's no existential threat from China, but there is the threat of having a totalitarian state be the world's leading influencer, which I don't.
As long as we're functional enough to function on our own and keep some standards of our culture going here, and our freedom of speech is really, I think that's probably the best thing that this country does.
And our innovative.
Nobody else does.
Not in culture as well as
that is, that is a big that's a. The only really two things I care about, but other than that, you gotta imagine that I just don't see what's the thing that they're gonna do to change our quality of life in any way.
Probably not much.
If they get stronger. And if America has less power on the world stage to go invade, put sanctions on countries and invade countries unilaterally and have no real punishment for it, that's a better thing.
If you look at China's imperialism, they, rather than invading a country and turning it into a shithole, they invest in the country.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do now.
Well, really?
Done that too. We have done that. We have invested a lot, but
Right,
China never did the invadey.
It's called
stage,
World
you're
Bank
right.
loans, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's how, like, yeah, it's pretty much organizations that are like controlled by the U.S. pretty much completely, that are like all powerful. Like, that's how Bolivia happened. OAS.
China and America both rely on each other. I mean, China for the supply and America for the demand.
Yeah, like the funny thing is, like the American elite and the Chinese elite have already like joined hands in like the 1990s, and like people, like the normal people in America, are just starting to get mad about it now. Like, that's really what's happened. Like, there's so many deep economic ties.
China is communist in name only,
Yeah.
dude, and I can
Yeah,
say that with full on belief. Like I think it's totally like just. Yeah,
There's
it
state.
sucks, dude. It's such a bad.
There's state capitalist
ideology.
Like,
They're
that's
completely
what I've
state
heard.
like there's no human rights. There's no
Makes it
social
no sense.
ownership. There's not a lot of social mobility at all. There's widespread poverty. Like nothing about it is left wing at all. It's just talk. It's all fucking talk.
Yeah, but the thing that they've always done, like, is they've always like assured at least a good quality of life for a critical mass of their people, which is what's kept them in power.
Yeah, they have brought out like quite literally billions of people out of poverty.
Yeah, you just have to kill a few 100 million.
Yeah, true. Because a lot of the stuff they did, in addition, was also like extremely detrimental to their population. But isn't that what capitalism does? And isn't that what totalitarianism is? Isn't it always the duality between benefiting the mass and harming the mass? You know?
Yeah, and when you're starting from such a low point, then it's very easy to go fast.
You can only go up from here.
Yeah. It's like you're so undeveloped in such a way. But Democratic leading ballots still remain in Atlanta. That's the big thing. That's the big story. As we talk about the election, there is a lot of ballots still left in Atlanta to go. And that's really coming in as with 72 and 76% reporting respectively. Purdue and Loeffler are hanging on to less than 1% leads. So we're looking for that to possibly flip.
It was from 15 million to 55 million, not 100 million. Also, just want to say.
Oh, the people in poverty?
It wasn't 100 million. In Mao killed, but you know.
Only 80 million.
Mao's just
only 6 million.
Dumbass, I gotta say.
Did you just say 6 million? Okay.
I'm just joking. If whoever's watching, that was a joke.
I'd believe 5.
Humorous today. Warnock has retaken the lead at 0.43%. He's hanging in there.
I'm looking. Okay,
Daddy, let's go.
Hey, shorty.
Good call.
Oh my God. Good, bro. It feels good. I'm glad to see that the Democratic momentum has been sustained past.
Spencer,
very surprising.
Are you seeing the Tufts group me?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, we are going to school with the people, like the type of people that like obsess over like who's better, John King or Steve Kornacki. It's like, oh my gosh, they're so cool.
Who the fuck are either of those people?
The people who do the stats on TV. Like on the screens.
Yeah, like the ones who like stay up for like 24 hours on the maps, dude.
Yeah. Like they sold that guy's khakis to a museum. Like, that's
on
ridiculous.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Like Steve Kornacki's
That's actually kind of like that's kind of interesting.
That's like how they that reminds me of how they made like RBG into like a hip hop icon or something. Ruth Conda forever. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
She probably hated it.
Ossoff is at plus 0.9 now, and Warnock is at plus 1.7. This is the most they've been up since it's begun.
NYT is feeling very confident.
Yeah. The race now leans towards the Democrats. There's a long way to go, and it's close, but they have done it better than they need across all vote methods and in all regions.
That is
All right. Okay.
Georgia may have just elected 2 Democratic senators. Isn't that fucking
oh my God! When you look at the map, it's gonna be blue. Oh
hey, dude, the party of the old democracy is returning to the South, as we have always have aspired to do.
We finished
back.
We're going back.
We're going back to finish the job.
Now we just gotta get to bring the policies back.
Yeah. We finished.